Hello everyone, many thanks for joining us today to look at Microsoft social engagement. I'm Warren Butler, Head of Marketing at Preact, and I'm joined by my colleague Daniel Hunter, who will lead today's demonstration. If you haven't recently looked at this service, or perhaps if you just want to know a little bit more about how this works, we hope you find this session useful to understand the capabilities of Microsoft social engagement and how this is relevant for sales, marketing, and customer service teams. I'll kick off with a quick introduction to social engagement before Daniel presents the live demonstration that will include how this works with Microsoft Dynamics 365. A bit of background about us. Preact is a CRM partner leading with Dynamics 365. We provide help to implement and support Dynamics and related requirements, which include social engagement, marketing automation, and Power BI. In many instances, we do this through a managed service agreement. In addition to phone support, this includes a bank of Dynamics hours, which can be used to instruct our team to deliver training, consultancy, and development work, and get access to insight and advice that helps to extend the benefits of the system and spread all service and support costs on a monthly basis. Trading since 1993, today we support more than 7,000 Dynamics users across multiple industry sectors. If you want to find out more or to discuss any immediate Dynamics requirements, we'd be delighted to hear from you. Before we get into the demonstration and talk about the capabilities of Microsoft social engagement, let's start by looking at a series of frequent business challenges that this is designed to tackle. For sales and marketing teams, how do you cut through all of the chatter on social to find posts that are of interest, which can potentially be shared, or discover posts from people that are potentially in the market for your product or service? In a B2C environment, consumers have increasing expectations for how quickly organizations respond to complaints and service issues posted on social. So how can businesses identify these priority issues and protect their reputation? As the name implies, for businesses, social shouldn't just be about listening, but increasing engagements. But how do you go about doing this? On an individual basis, especially for anyone involved in account management or a business development role, there is a continuing challenge to broaden the reach of your own social network with the aim of generating leads from this channel. Business leaders and marketing teams need to keep up with social trends about their organization, as well as the wider industry that will help them react proactively to new threats and opportunities. At one stage or another, pretty much every leader would have questioned how returns from social media can be measured, quantified, and reported. And finally, for sales, marketing, and service teams, how can social activity and insights be connected with other business processes and technology? Microsoft Social Engagement is included with every Dynamics 365 subscription. And to introduce its main capabilities and how it deals with the points that we've just looked at, we've arranged these into three main themes. Firstly, it's about listening. Social engagement works across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, blogs, forums, and now extends to LinkedIn company pages to listen to what people are saying in as many as 20 languages. As we'll demonstrate, you can configure search filters and social feeds across specific social accounts, as well as receiving automated alerts across keywords, phrases, and search terms to identify the posts that matter to you. Through sentiment analysis, social engagement helps users understand who their fans and influencers are and any detractors. As well as offering another means of identifying relevant posts, sentiment analysis helps to figure out what an audience feels about a topic based on their social comments and how this has changed over time. As the name implies, this service is very much about driving engagement. And for businesses, that means turning insights into action that will help to improve sentiment, increase followers, and win more customers. For individuals, social engagement helps to keep up to date by following news and events in an industry and easily share new content with the aim of making new connections and sparking conversations that will result in new leads, which are handled in Dynamics 365. So that's a very high-level introduction to Microsoft Social Engagement. I'll now bring in Daniel, who will provide more detail in the demonstration. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks very much, Warren. Let me just say hello to everybody attending on the session today while I just flick about here and get to my screens. Okay, so talked a little bit about the various components of social engagement, and I'll split my demonstration this afternoon into 4 key areas. The first of which we'll be looking at is social listening. So where do we get our information from? How can we get our information into our social engagement solution? So first of all, let me just open up my social engagement, the application. You can see here, looks fairly similar. Those of you who are already Dynamics 365 users to the Dynamics 365 interface, we've got our Office widget at the top here and our menu items scroll down from here. So if I just pull down the menu here, you'll see we've got a series of areas within social engagement that we can interact with. And we're going to start off our story today with the idea of a search setup. So we're starting off our engagement and we need to say, well, what is it we want to listen for? As we can see here, we've got several categories of searches. So each of your searches there's no limit to the number of searches you can have. The only limit is the number of posts that you can see. And I've got to see on the right hand side here, I've got my allowable quota of 20,000 posts per month. And all the searches that I've got here fall within, so my expected quota is 18, so it falls within our expectations. So our allocations are going to last all the way through the month there. So that's nice. So we've got our different categories here. Lots of categories have been set up here, but I'm going to concentrate, you would expect, on the demo category. And I've got my various search terms within my demo category, all pointing at different things. So if we just go to the add a new search topic here, we can see I'm just going to give it a name, call it the test one. Oh, there we go. Oh, it already, of course it does. There we go. Okay, test 2, lovely. And I'll create a rule for this search. So here we can see the different engagement methods that you can use social engagement to pull posts and information from the social sphere. So obviously we've got the idea of the Facebook page, the Twitter rule, the LinkedIn rule. So as Warren was saying, we can connect now to a LinkedIn company page and pull posts and comments from that page. We can connect to YouTube, and we can connect to custom sources as well as keyword searches across all these various platforms. So for example, if I want to connect to a Facebook page, I click my Facebook page here. We can see here I've got 2 Facebook pages already connected to my social profile. So I am the owner of these 2 Facebook pages, and I can see here people look at likes and whatever else, people currently talking about these pages. I can add those into a search, and then those will automatically pull back information. I'm not going to do that for now because I've already got those set up, but the other more kind of useful type is a keyword search. So I can see at the top here, I can say I can put a search topic in. So if I want to search for, I don't know, Preact social engagement, there we go, there's my keyword, and I'm going to be searching across the various social platforms. So if I want to say, oh, okay, I want Disqus, I want Instagram, I want Twitter, I don't want Reddit, but I do like YouTube. So I can then save that. I also need to select a language. So just pop down languages there, and I think that's at the bottom. Here we go, and I only want English results. I apply that, I'll create that search topic, do a quota check. So before you've saved your search, it will do a quick analysis of the search that you've made and say, well, based on what's already out there, approximately how many results we're going to get, is this going to fall within our quota? And assuming it does, it will give it a little tick up here to say yes, and then we can save that search and then move on. But for the moment, there we go. So obviously this hashtag doesn't actually exist because I don't have a campaign called that, so we're actually going to find no post per month, so that's great. But if I just save that now, that then becomes a live search topic. So that's been saved, and I can now head back to my search setup, and I can see that search topic listed in my demo wherever there is, test number 2. So that's going to match 0 posts. That's great. That doesn't really matter. But we've got some of the other demonstration ones up here that I can see that I've been collating posts since I put them into place a couple of days ago. So we've got our searches set up. Obviously, you can have as many of these, as I said, as many of these search topics as you require. So if you've got multiple brands, or you've got an event running on concurrent hashes or whatever else, hashtags, then you could monitor all that different sort of information in different categories. Maybe you might want to monitor what your competitors are doing on social. You can add their Twitter profiles or their hashtags and monitor those as well. So good variety about how you can actually interact with the social sphere. I'm going to head back now to the analytics page, so my second tab in here, which brings us back to that first page that we were looking at. So this page now is giving us basic analytics at this point over all the search topics that I've got in my search. So I can see all my categories here. And if I push out demonstration here, I can see all my search topics. So if I want to just limit this down to one particular thing, I could click into this one, for example, and just see that the information and analytics based on that one particular search. I can also modify the time scale that we're looking at. So at the moment, I'm just looking at last month, and I can see for that search topic in the last month, I've analyzed 446 posts. You can see here in the center pane here, the volume charts, the sentiment charts, the location charts. So all the various information, we've got ideas of authors and stuff. This is just on the overview pane. I head to the conversations pane. Again, we're still locked into this particular Big Ideas 2018 search topic. So now we've got the idea of analyzing the actual conversations. So we've still got our idea of sentiment. We've now introduced some phrases. So obviously the bigger the phrase, the more often it's occurring. Obviously you'd expect the hashtag to be the most popular thing in a post about Big Ideas 2018, but other phrases that come up more than once are also listed alongside here. So we can see all those and make judgments on that sort of thing as well. So if I just head back up to the main demo topic, so there we go. So now I'm looking at more than one search topic. So the big words in here are basically the search topics that we're looking at, and everything else is well included within there. Heading across, next tab is the sentiment tab. So social engagement uses machine learning to analyze posts and determine whether they are positive posts, negative posts, or neither. So we can see here over time, the majority of the posts we've looked at have been identified as positive. There have been some identified as negative, and we can go in and we can look at those and make a correction to those and increase the accuracy of the machine learning algorithm by making those changes. So if a post comes up and the algorithm has identified it as a negative, and we say, actually, no, you've misunderstood, that's actually a positive comment, we can manually change it to positive, and each change that we make is going to increase the accuracy of that algorithm moving forward. And we'll come on to that a little bit later on. Just finishing off the tabs along the top here, we've got the idea of location. So again, we can see in a map here where all our posts are coming from. So obviously big focus on the UK and United States, but there are other posters around the world commenting on the various topics that we're monitoring, and we can see here. And we'll come on to location in a bit more of an interesting way a bit later on. But this is your basic location tab in the social engagement analytics page. And finally, the sources. So where are these posts coming from? We can see here. So the majority of these posts are originating from Twitter, but we've got 300 odd posts coming from Instagram. We've got 28 posts coming from various blogs, some forum posts coming in here, and a very small number of YouTube video posts. So, and again, analytics all running automatically. You don't need to do anything to make this work. This is just standard functionality for social engagement. But on any of these tabs, we can also click across this area here, which will actually take us into the information we want to see, so the actual post information. So I'm just going to change here and head into this topic here, so the complaint topic. So this is a hashtag that I've been monitoring for the purposes of this demonstration, and we can see here, as expected, the majority of posts that have got the hashtag complaint in, the system has identified as negative. So if I switch over my posts here, we'll actually see these posts as they've been coming through. So people complaining about various organizations or whatever else. And if this was your organization, you could pick up these things here and convert them into actionable items. But one of the things, if we look at one of these, here we go, look at this one particularly here, this poor chap here, he's been on the phone to Samsung. And the system has marked this, tagged this as a complaint. So it's identified that he's complaining, and it's automatically tagged this as a complaint. And you can set up these tags within the system. So a complaint is one of them. You might want that to have an automation rule to automatically create a case based on the fact that he's complained in your dynamic system. But you can also do things for, as Warren said, buying signals for social, for sales teams and stuff like that, identifying new leads from social and creating follow-ups from those posts automatically within the system into Dynamics. And we'll talk about the integration with Dynamics 365 a little bit later on. But just heading back to my main page here. So social insights, we talked a little bit about. So how we can actually look and view this information, but a bit more about how this works. So if I go into my settings area here and into my, here we go. So automatic tagging. So we've got these automatic tags set up within our system. So a complaint, an information request, a purchase or a support request. And based on the information that's contained within those posts, the system will attempt to automatically tag those things with this information. So again, that's using that machine learning algorithm. The more you interact with it, the cleverer it's going to get, but it will work fairly well out of the box. You may well need some sort of teasing to get the correct, sort of, especially if you're looking at something that's fairly non-standard, it will need some assistance from you to get that correct going forward over a number of days or weeks. But once it's up and running, you can automatically create automatic tags to tag these posts as the particular thing that you're talking about. So the other thing you can do is, obviously I mentioned earlier on, and we'll come on to it a little bit later as well, is from these automatic tags or automatic things happening, create automation rules. So I'm just going to cover this while we're in the settings page. And we can see here, I've got an automation rule here. So in this case, I've got a thing set up. So when it identifies a particular set of posts, it will automatically create a lead for me in my Dynamics 365 system using that social post, creating the records in Dynamics 365 without any interaction from anybody. So you can set that up to run. But just going to head back to my main page here now and look at what's called the social center. So if I click on here, we can also now create feeds. So we looked at that post feed at the start and we saw, yes, we can see all the information pulling through, but we can also, there we go, thank you very much. So I've got various post feeds set up here for the various search terms and topics that I'm interested in. So my Facebook feed here is just pulling posts and comments from Facebook pages, and if I was working from the Facebook side of things, I could just work from this social feed. I've got a GDPR social feed here, so any posts coming through regarding the upcoming GDPR, I can see those here, and we can see information, sentiment information here. So this identified this one as positive, identified this one as positive, identified this one as neither positive or negative. And if we look at the complaints, yes, look, negative, negative, negative. So it's doing a reasonably good job of identifying when people are happy, when people are unhappy from the language that they're using within their tweets or posts or whatever else. So you can create these are not standard. You can create custom ones of these. If I want to add a stream, I'll give myself a new stream here. So again, I'm going to call this one test 3. Pick a color for your stream. So in this case, it's going to be purple. You've got the date published is usually the way you want to go there. And you could also share this with other social engagement users if you wanted to. But from here, we can see at the moment, all the posts that we've got in the last month are matching this search filter. But actually I say, okay, no, I just want to see stuff regarding Dynamics 365. There we go. So that's now gone down to 7,500. And I want to filter that by, I just want to see stuff originating from Twitter and LinkedIn. I hit save there. That then goes away, creates that stream, and I could then head into the post list for that particular stream. So that's a user-based thing. Any user can, so there you go, lots of lovely posts about Dynamics 365 from the various engagement points that we've selected, and we can also expose this within No, we can't. No. So yeah, so this is available to any particular user, and we can see here, and we can share this with other users. So if I've got a stream that I want somebody else to share, I can create the stream, share that with another user, and that will then appear on their list of streams. And we can see here, new post has just come in. So if I click here, go to the top, there we go. New post has just been placed by this particular organization that we're monitoring. So this is all updating in real time as well, so it gives you a good view of what's going on. But moving across our little tabs here, we've got the idea of activity maps. Now, when I talked about location earlier on and said I'll come back to it later, this is what I was talking about. So the activity map is, if I just flick at this on up here, so this is an idea of an activity map. And we can see here, got over the past hour, the view that I'm matching is obviously updating real time, and there have been 13 posts posted in the time. Now, I was afraid this was going to happen. I was doing some preparation for this webinar a couple of days ago, and I was thinking, how am I going to successfully demonstrate activity maps and have it as a useful, engaging way of seeing it? And was looking around on the various social sites and thought, I'm going to need to pick something that's going to be fairly, non-confrontational or anything else. It is social media. So, and eventually came up with this. So Tuesday night, there was a TV show in the UK, Britain's Favourite Dogs, had a little hashtag associated with it. So Tuesday night, I set up social media, social engagement to monitor that hashtag. And if I just go over here, we can see the recording that I made of that engagement for Britain's Favourite Dogs. We can see in the top left there. And we're now looking at the sentiment map in real time as people are tweeting that hashtag to Twitter. So as we're just zooming in here to the UK, where you'd expect most of the results to come from, going to push that down to the last 30 minutes of activity. And as we can see here, little dots appearing on the map. It's going to switch over to just positive sentiment there. And as we sit and watch, we can see up in the top right-hand corner, the number of posts that have been collected since we started this search. At the moment, 108, 185, 186, 187, 188. So as we're watching this, people are tweeting about this particular topic, and we'll be able to watch that happening in real time, seeing where they're tweeting from, seeing whether they're being positive or negative. Obviously, if I turn positive off, there we go, and now we get all the views. We could go into negative if we want. Not going to open up the negative posts, I'm not an idiot, but there we go. So we can see everything that's going on. We've also got the idea of a buzz map. So this is different from the sentiment map, and this shows how recent these posts were made. So the more complete the circle, the more recent the post was made. So as we can see here, there's still stuff popping up. So the posts up in the top hand corners now reaching a fever pitch, so nearly 500 posts in the last 2 minutes or whatever. So just switching back to the sentiment map now. And if we pop out of the side here, we can see some basic insights as well in the activity feed and the activity map. So you can see the phrases that people are using. I don't know what Walnut did, but that's obviously something terrible that happened. But obviously all the tweets basically are mentioning that hashtag in there, so we can see that happening over time. So if you've got an event that you're running, or you've got a product launch that's associated with hashtags and stuff, and you want to monitor the launch in real time, or you've got a particularly vibrant social presence, people are often tweeting about you and stuff, then you could use the social engagement map to see where they're tweeting from, how they're tweeting, if there's clusters of happy people, unhappy people geographically. That would be easily be identifiable through the activity map. But the other thing you can do from here, so the last thing we're going to come on to this afternoon, is the idea of connecting back to Dynamics. So we can see there I've picked up a tweet, and I'm just clicking through to convert that to a record within Dynamics 365. And we're going to look at that a little bit more detailed now. I'm just going to flick back over to my main page here. So here's my social center. I'm going to hit back to the analytics page, and we're going to go back to those people who are complaining. So no, actually, let's do something different. Let's look at some Facebook pages. That would be nice. Right. Okay. So I'm monitoring lots of different Facebook pages here. If I click my post across here, obviously the posts that are being posted. So we can see here, Microsoft Dynamics Facebook page. That's lovely. Power BI Facebook page. So all the various posts that are going on from Facebook. And see if I can find somebody Here we go. So this guy here, Jonathan. So I've decided this is actually, yes, he's posted a video, but I've decided this is a lead for us. So I can link through here. I've got the instance of Dynamics 365 that I want to link to. And I say I want to create this as a new case. I'm going to pop a note in the bottom here. Posted from MSE, just so I know where it's come from. Lovely, and I'll hit create. That will go away. Talk to Dynamics 365, and there we go, that's been done. So if I click here now, I'll be able to see, yep, that's created now a new lead in Dynamics 365. So if I head back over to my Dynamics, and hopefully click refresh on here, there we go. So we can now see that lead, Jonathan, has been created in Dynamics with the topic that he posted. So getting stuff out of social engagement and putting it into Dynamics so that you can then work on it, qualify it through, or if it's a service case, triage it, ensure customer satisfaction, pulling from social, then that's very easy to do. And in combination with those automation rules that we looked at the start, makes this very compelling in terms of getting the information out of social engagement, out of the social sphere, putting it into Dynamics 365 and taking action on it. Other information that you can do in Dynamics. So while we're in Dynamics, let's just look at some of this stuff. So let's go over to here. So the social selling assistant, that was also a tab, let's go back over here, also a tab that you may have seen in social engagement itself, but you can surface that within Dynamics 365. So if I go back to Dynamics, I've got a social selling assistant dashboard here, and this is surfacing for me posts that have been identified that I might want to externally share in order to build my own personal, business brand or whatever. So I can see here, this is picked up from our Preact site, the webinar that we're doing this afternoon. I could then share this post. I can pick how I want to share this post. So I've got my LinkedIn profile here. I've got my Facebook page. I've got another Facebook page. So in this case, I'm going to share it with my LinkedIn audience. I'm going to share it to my network only. Hit send there. And that will go away. Share that post. There we go. Link to post successfully shared to my social profile. So if you head to my LinkedIn page, you'll now see that post has been put on there. Just literally posted it from here. So this is identifying things that I might want to reshare. Again here, this particular LinkedIn post. I'll also do this one, what's new and what's deprecated with the last version of Dynamics. There we go. Hit post on there, and that will also now share this post from our organization page onto my personal LinkedIn feed for my LinkedIn audience to consume. So this is a nice tool for building your own personal brand on social media. And obviously this is pulling in information, it's asking me to share this content and also giving me insight about things that I might be interested in. So lots of information in this page. The other thing you can do with Dynamics, if I head back over to this one, there we go. So I'm also able to surface in a dashboard social engagement analytics. So you can see here, this is analytics pulling through from social engagement. So I can see the sources summary that we looked at earlier, the volume of history over time, the actual posts as they're coming through. So if I want to see on my dashboard, if I'm a marketing or social marketing and that sort of thing, but using Dynamics 365, I can surface this information from social engagement into my Dynamics 365 dashboard and have that as one of my dashboards. So it just becomes another dashboard in your list of dashboards, but it means you don't have to have the two windows open. You can, obviously, if I click on this, we'll open up social engagement. So you've got that click through to the actual application. There we go. But makes it useful to surface that sort of thing within Dynamics 365. Okay, so let's just head back over to, here we go, and head back over to the start. Clicking on social engagement up here, by the way, will always take you back to your default home screen. So if I just head into settings here, you've got the option to set up what your preferences are. So what your default time frame is, last month, last week, today, last week is the default, but I've got mine to last month. Coloring that you might want to have, so I can change the coloring of the application if I want to. Hit save there, that'll go back to Dynamics, and oh look, now it's all dark. Ah, lovely. But it's all a personal preference. So you've got preferences throughout the system. There we go. Now we're in the dark way of viewing things. Makes it a little bit easier to see white on black than black on white, depending on how you like to view it. All those configuration points are in the area for settings. Okay, so I hope you found that fairly useful. We do quite a lot of consulting internally here on social engagement, social listening, that sort of thing for customers. So if you've got any specific requirements or need any help with getting this set up, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us. But for the moment, I'm just going to pass this back to Warren now to finish up the session.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, if you're registered with Dynamics 365, you do already have entitlement to use social engagement. So we hope this has been a useful overview and you've seen how it would be beneficial for your organization. We'll stay online to pick up your questions, but if you do want to find out more about any of the points that we've covered, or if you want to discuss implementing social engagement and connecting this with Dynamics, please get in touch and we'll be happy to help.